Okay, I'm going to try to do a beginner guide for the Erica Synths Syntrx II. I wouldn't really call this a beginner synth, but just in case you started out with one of these and you're confused how to use it, I'm going to try to go over the basics. So it's a 3 oscillator synth. 2 of them, oscillator 1 and 2, are mainly meant for audio, and oscillator 3 is mainly meant for control voltages, so for modulation purposes. This can be used as audio, and these can be used in low frequency for CV, but generally you're using these for sound and this one to modify the sound. So if we want to hear an oscillator, we just connect it to the output. Something to note, on my unit at least, the knobs have no effect in the 9 to 10 range or the 0 to 1 range. So if you're trying to tune down there or way up here and it's not working for you, then yeah. And I'm pretty sure it's like this for every knob. So in addition to pitch for the oscillator, there is a shape, and this affects your wave shape. So for the square, you get a standard pulse width modulation. And if we connect the sine, we get some basic wave shaping. This gets a little more interesting if you run another oscillator at audio rate to the shape and mod it. So I have a MIDI keyboard hooked up to it. If you're just starting out, I recommend using a MIDI keyboard because it's nice to have some basic control instead of just running the sequencer or having it droning or whatever. Speaking of which, if we want to stop this from droning, we can send it to the envelope signal. So typically on a synthesizer, your path is oscillator to filter to voltage controlled amplifier. On here there's nothing labeled voltage controlled amplifier, but there's 3 in the synth. There's 1 on each output, and the trapezoid is tied to a VCA. So if we run it to the envelope signal, that will allow us to turn the sound on and off. So we plug the envelope signal to the output, and now when we hit a key, something you gotta know is that if the off knob isn't on manual, the envelope will be repeating. The gate will still take priority over this, so you can use it for like gated looping. But for normal leads and basses, you're going to want the off knob up on manual. So we can listen to VCO2 as well. It's a lot louder than VCO1 because we're hearing the sine, which is not that many harmonics, so we can plug the square from VCO1 to the envelope signal as well. And because we have shape mod at audio rate, it sounds pretty messy, so we'll get rid of that. So with without using the filter, there's still a little bit of tone shaping we can do with the output filter. So we're running to output 1, so we'll use the channel 1 filter, and you can get it more bassy and muted, or bright. There's no way of modulating these though, other than just, you know, moving them with your hand. But if we want a little bit more like better tone control, we can run the oscillators to the filter and then run the filter to the envelope signal. I plugged the wrong one. So the filter on the Syntrx, there's a low pass and high pass filter, and the low pass filter is resonant, and I believe the high pass filter is not resonant. So a low pass filter, you can think of it like a high cut filter with it all the way up. Nothing is being cut, but as we bring it down, it removes the high frequencies. Typically on a synthesizer you have an envelope that's dedicated to the filter, but on the Syntrx we only have one envelope, and it's this trapezoid. So we can send it to the filter and it'll give us a little bit more, like if we bring the attack up, it'll fade in, and if we bring the decay down, it'll be a little more plucky. Decay up, you get some release. A normal envelope has a dedicated release knob, but here release and decay are controlled by the same knob. So the resonance, once you bring it up to about 8 or 9, you'll get some resonance. The resonance on this synth is a little bit dependent on your oscillator levels. So if we bring down the oscillator levels a little bit, we can hear the resonance more. Here we can hear that high pitched. If you bring up the oscillators, it's not as noticeable. So this is already like your most basic synthesizer patch: oscillators to filter, filter to envelope signal, and then have the trapezoid controlling the filter. And then you can play it with the button or a keyboard, or if we go into sequencer mode and put in some notes. So I'm gonna have to break this video up into multiple parts because my phone can only record for 10 minutes. So I'll see you in part 2 if you decide to watch.